Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Hey, do you have a pond or water garden? Julia, do you still have your pond?
I took it down.
Shame on you.
I
still have mine. Mine is 10,000 gallons. Did you know that?
10,000 gallons.
Yeah, that's a lot of water.
It is a lot.
And there are some things you need to do before the temperatures drop below freezing. First thing, you need to switch feeding your food.
Yeah.
Right now, it's getting colder, and the fish want more of a wheat germ base. So they're often you'll see when you go in to buy your fish food, your pond food. And again, please don't be giving your fish like goldfish flakes.
Yeah.
They want a pelleted type of feed. And again, you can go down to your local garden center if they're selling. They have pond supplies that they will absolutely have this. And again, it's the wheat germ formulation, and you do it both in winter. Well, I guess it's when the water temperature gets below 50 degrees, and that we're approaching that now, and that when the spring, so you do that all the way through, and so you're not going to be stuck with this wheat germ stuff that's just for fall, because it's fall and spring. So don't worry about having some left over. You keep it sealed and just go ahead and start using it again when your fish break dormancy in the spring. Also, remove your UV.
Oh, yeah.
Look, this is the time where you need to put a valve so you can turn off the UV, because first of all, you should have a valve already. And the reason is because the amount of water that passes through the light, a UV light, the slower it goes, the more it's efficient it's going to be. If it's dirty, it's not going to work at all. Yeah. If you leave it in and it cracks, it's really not going to work at all. Okay? So you want to make sure you take that UV out and wash it now, because the way that a UV works, the light is inside. There's a quartz sleeve that protects the bulb, and the water passes through it, and the light goes, and it will kill algae, and it will kill other pathogens. And that, again, if you haven't changed your bulb in 2 years, it's not working.
Yeah.
It's not working, even though it may be on. But if you haven't changed it in 2 years, it is just not bright enough to make a difference. So you need to go ahead and replace that UV bulb, and do this now, so that in springtime, when you get motivated to get your pond back into shape and you open it for the season, all you have to do is put your UV back. So you need to clean out, and you're going to clean out your UV. You're going to wash it out. You're going to use a little bit of bleach, and you're going to get it all nice and spanking clear and clean. And you want to make sure that that sleeve's clean. And then change your bulb. And then that next season, when we get here in spring, that it's going to be, stopping algae and doing all those things that you bought it for in the first place. What about plants, Julio? What should you do?
You got to come back your plants, because you don't want them to flop over and then decompose, and you'll have organic matter all over the place.
That's right.
That's a problem.
That's right. Speaking of organic matter, Microbe-Lift.
Oh, yes.
Autumn prep. That is what you need to use now. We often say that a pond is like a septic system.
Right.
And those of you that have septic systems or have had them in the past know that you need to break down the solids. And at this point, we're talking about solids as in fish waste. We're talking about plants, leaves, things that are in the bottom of the pond, and that it will break that down and make it so that it can be basically taken up by the filter, and it makes it safe for the fish, because the debris in the pond is what causes algae. And the next thing, Julio, is what?
You got to install a heater, a pond heater.
Pond heater.
Yes, we have one right here.
We are not making a fish hot tub, okay? What this does is it creates a hole in the ice so that the gases don't get trapped under the ice and kill your fish, because there still is an exchange, and your fish are gathering oxygen through the water with their gills. And if it's trapped, those gases are going to kill the fish. And that's one reason we say about using autumn prep. It breaks down that solid waste that's in the bottom, and that it will help your fish, and it will help also eliminate some of those gases. Great. Most important, and you may think, it's early to be putting my pond heater in. No, it isn't, because you need to put your net in right now. Leaves are starting to turn. You can tell the tartness. I have a big Norway maple, Crimson King Norway maple, and I walked out in front of my house and looked like, what happened?
What happened?
Is it November? I mean, all the leaves that were down is incredible. So make sure you get a net to cover your pond so all those leaves don't go in, and then you have all that gook in the bottom of your pond if you don't catch them. But if you put a good net over top of your pond, for one, it'll catch all those leaves. So all you have to do is drag it off in the spring. But remember, oak trees, just as a side note, oak leaves drop half of their leaves in the fall, and there's still some remaining on it that they drop in the spring. So if you have an oak, like I do, above your pond, make sure that you don't take your netting off too early, because all of a sudden you end up with all those leaves in your pond and you start saying nasty words. But make sure you do a net. Make sure you get that over top. And then again, the heater is essential because, it hasn't been that cold.
No.
Yeah. Put it in.
Yep.
One trick, too, is making sure that you don't have that heater. And it's not on all the time. It has a thermostat in it, and that it goes on when it gets below freezing. Now, again, it doesn't heat the pond water. It heats the area where it's sitting, so it acts like a chimney to get all those bad gases out from underneath the ice. But make sure you don't have it sitting on your liner because, again, it gets hot and that you don't want it to melt your liner at all. So just something to make sure when you put it out there that you don't just kind of throw it in and leave, plug it in and you're done. Make sure that it's some protection for your liner.
Wow.
All right. It's important to do. Mm-hmm. It's important to do.
Start it now.
And don't skimp on the UV. Clean it up. Replace that bulb. It'll be basically brand new when you open it up in the spring.